What is up, my Lorcana Goons? Welcome back to the Lorcana Goons channel. My name is Kevin, and you are watching the Friday Market Watch. Today is July 26th. I'm joined with Zach Stone, who joins us on the Friday Market Watch videos, so we can take a little bit of extra time to go into the Lorcana news, the meta trends, and these card prices. Zach Stone is a professional card salesman. He does this for a living. Zach, how are you doing today this Friday? It's been a week since we did the Market Watch together, and we were in Texas.
Yes, it has been a week, and I'm doing pretty good. Today is a new day. I'm excited. I love Fridays. Just want to give a good shout out to everybody that came up and approached us during the Fort Worth Challenge. I got to sign some stuff for like the first time, which felt really cool. So I'm really grateful. Kevin and I just had a blast, and as you all know, Kevin made top 32 as always. He shows up, and there's just a spot waiting for him in day two.
Thanks, man. That means a lot to me. I did try really hard. I do feel like luck was on my side, but but we're not champions yet. I do want to be a Lorcana champion, and we will get there eventually. But let's get on with the market watch because there's a lot to talk about, dude. We are about a week and a half, 2 weeks away from the next set 5 called Shimmering Skies from Disney Lorcana Ravensburger, and there's a bunch of pre-orders you can find online on TCG Player for the booster boxes, the troves, and whatnot, and all the singles are starting to pop up on TCG Player too for absurd prices. So we're here to let you know to not buy pre-order singles because prices are never this expensive for this game, right? So we have the Great Illuminary, an awesome new Sapphire card location that's going to come out in set 5. It's a 3 inkable card. It's a 2 move cost with 9 willpower that says characters with support get +1 lore and +2 willpower while here. That's actually kind of good. That's actually a pretty good card, but is it going to be a $5 rare? Probably not. I think the only rare we have that's that expensive is what, Maui. So I don't recommend doing those pre-orders. We also have Prince John's Mirror from Shimmering Skies. If you thought Bucky was a problem, this is a Bucky that you can pop with Benja. It's a 3 inkable item that says if you have a character named Prince John in play, you pay one less you pay one less to play this item. And at the end of each opponent's turn, if they have 3 or more cards in their hand, they discard until they have 3 cards in their hand. So high potential here with some more Emerald discard stuff. Zach, are you excited?
Yeah, this card's going to be interesting for sure. I don't see it being like overpowered, but in certain spots against certain decks without any item removal, they are, that card might be a little bit of a problem. I don't see the discard strategy being reliant on this card. I think there's going to be other cards to worry about. We have another card that, as powerful as it may be, it is not going to be worth the pre-sale price of the Maui Hero to All. But we have a Gaston that can be played for 2 less for any damage character you have in play. Has rush and 10 strength, so it's able to knock out any location in one shot. But it has that 2 lore, so after it stays there, it's going to be a little bit of a problem. Kevin, what are your thoughts on this card?
I honestly like this card. I read this card and it made me feel like, oh wow, you can play Ruby Amethyst now with Mulans, with Bells, and now with this Gaston to kind of give yourself an extra edge for playing damaged characters. And dude, imagine Ruby Amber, like the yellow-red deck. You're going to be able to capitalize on the fact that you're already playing Mother Gothels, Beasts, and Mulans to heal them up. And then you're going to be able to like do some crazy combos where you'll probably be able to play those characters to make it so that you have more than 9 damage on your side. And you can play this Gaston for free. So playing a 10/6 character that can quest for 2 is pretty nice. I like that Shimmering Skies is introducing a lot of these characters that have like these little it's like an archetype where it looks like every color is getting a character that says it's really high cost, very powerful, but you can play it early depending on X, Y, and Z. Kind of like Chernobog, where it was for Amber. If you had more characters in your discard pile, you can play it early. We have Gaston, and then there's a couple other ones in the Shimmering Skies. I think they open up the door to some cool strategies, especially this one. So is it going to be $15? No. It more than likely isn't. But it's going to be pretty cool. I think it's a good strategy, definitely. Prince Naveen, we had a legendary reveal yesterday. Prince Naveen is a Singer 6, a 4-cost, uninkable character, 3 strength, 3 willpower, quest for 2, and says when you play this character, you may play a song with cost 6 or less for free. I think this card's great. Whenever a card says for free, you have to respect it. You have to, think about some wacky plays you can do with this. And there's so many great songs you can sing with this, from Let It Go, We Don't Talk About Bruno, obviously Friends on the Other Side. Just a bunch of cards, man. What do you think? Is this going to be a meta breaking?
Yeah, this card's actually insane. Just being able to play like whole new world after you cast this character is very strong. The
Grab
two
your
lore is
swords.
that Yeah, the two lore is definitely something to kind of consider. Any like four drop, anything with like two lore has to kind of also be respected too on the back end after it's already done its job. But yeah, like you said, the Bruno, I feel like there's going to be a lot of potential to cheat out some songs, and there's probably some that we're not thinking of for sure. Like you can even play like Pirate's Life for free after this. You after you play this character.
Yeah, a sudden chill for free. Just a bunch of random stuff, dude. Like I think it opens up a lot of doors, especially for color combinations that you might not see a lot of play, like yellow blue, for example, because there's always problems with like removal in that deck. But if you're telling me I can sing my Let It Go a turn early like that, that is enough, I think, to convince me you can play a deck like Amber Sapphire next format. So I think Prince Naveen has high potential. $50 legendary. I don't know how I feel about that in particular, just because we have very few of those in Lorcana. Even Diablo, which was the most expensive and probably the most hyped legendary in the last set, is only selling for about $30. But we'll get into Diablo a little bit later. We have Elsa's Ice Palace. Real quick, I want to go over this rare. Pretty cool. 3 cost uninkable location, 1 move cost, 4 willpower. That says when you play this location, choose an exerted character. While this location is in play, that character can't ready at the start of their turn. So I think this card's kind of good. I especially like this with the new Ana card that's coming out, the shiftable that we just got revealed. So that it's a pretty cool wombo combo you can do, and I think it's gonna make some where we might be finally getting some room to play some actual like movie themed decks. Maybe we might have a Frozen deck, a Frozen archetype deck that actually sees some meta play, which I am super excited for.
Yeah, the location is very interesting. Don't forget that the wall exists too, so that's another card that could potentially see a little bit more play, and it has an enchanted version. So keep in mind that there's a lot of cards that haven't been explored yet. Alanadale, the Rockin' Rooster. Oh, this is one of my favorite cards from this set, man. You gain a lore for any time you play a song. We're going to see Amber Steel kind of like get to abuse this the most.
Dude,
Playing it on four.
this and Prince Naveen combined, it's insane. Like they're such good two amazing cards, right?
Yeah, and don't forget the powerful singers you can play on one, two, and three. So just playing this on four, singing all your free songs, gaining that extra lore. Just it's not worth $4, guys. We haven't seen uncommons hit that price yet.
Ever.
At most, this will be the dollar uncommon that we see from this set.
Mhm.
But who knows? There's a lot of other powerful cards that we're gonna see in this set.
It'll probably be like a $5 cold foil, like the way Chernobog Followers is. I can see that for sure. Like Flynn Rider, maybe like $2-3 on a good day. And last but not least, I want to go over Cusco, the Selfish Emperor. This card is insane, dude. I love this card. 6 cost, inkable character, 3 strength, 5 willpower. When you play this character, you may put chosen item or location into its player's inkwell face down and exerted. So you have item removal, more item removal actually, and then you have another ability that says pay 4 ink. Your other characters gain resist +1 until the start of your next turn. I think this card's great. I think people will like just look at a card with 3 strength and think, Medusa target. But like honestly, that's not as relevant as you think it is in Lorcana. I definitely think this card is really good. It's item removal. It's also technically ramp if you want to use your own and do it on yourself, and then you give yourself more ink. It's perfect. You can stop lucky dimes. Yeah, I don't know. I like this card a lot. How do you feeling about set 5, Shimmering Sky, Zach Stone?
I'm very excited for it. Everyone loves our boy Kuzgo. And even though there was a new Simba reveal that honestly has the same effect, keep in mind that that is a steel card, and that Ruby Sapphire now has its own, version of that. So it's definitely a nice set to like look forward to. Just guys, these cards and these prices, do not spend this money on them. Like please choose to put your money elsewhere, like pre-ordering from a local game store. You might even find better deals because they're looking to be competitive here with these pre-sale prices.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah,
just
hit up your local game store, ask them if they have pre-orders on boxes, blister packs, troves, or even singles, and I guarantee you they will hook you up with way better prices than this. So definitely look into that, I think. But let's go on. Let's get into some Enchanted news before we get into the meta stuff. Maui, hero to all Enchanted. We've been looking at these for the last couple weeks. I feel like Maui in general is one of the best cards in Lorcana, and it's not going to go anywhere. So this Enchanted I've been wanting to drop in price so I can buy it for less than 150, but it just hasn't happened. And if anything, we're seeing sales happening for more than 150 still, 175 on the 23rd, 24th, and then 255 on the 25th, which was yesterday. That's very interesting, very interesting. But yeah, they have been kind of going up in the last week or so. Lowest verified is now 188. After that, the lowest verified for a near mint becomes 190 by Dragon's Horde NC. Shout out MTG Madness Florida as well. And if you want some non-verified sellers, you can find it for still a little bit less than 200. So Maui Hero to all. Your Ursula Sea Queen Enchanted promos from the set championships are selling for around 160. I think this is like the bottom that it's hit. Big City Cards has you for 159.95, and we are seeing some sales for this, which is good. Even though this card did tank or whatever, and it has come down in price, especially compared to the first set championship price card, they see a lot of sales movement. A lot of people buying. Somebody bought 2 today. People bought like 7 of them yesterday, and then the day before that, like 5 of them as well. So it's good to see that people are interested in this card, regardless of how much it's selling for, because at the end of the day, like, you're gonna be able to win something for your set champs, right? And they did announce that the next set championship, it's gonna be the pricing for these cards is gonna be given out to top 8 instead of top 4. Did you know that, Zach? Did you hear about that?
I did hear about that. Now it's something that a lot of people are going to be having mixed feelings about. Me personally, I would much rather see it still be where it's at, but I can understand why the Ravensburger company chose to make this move. I think it's a good move overall for the business. And then just also keep in mind, guys, that just means that more of those set champ cards will be distributed than these other two, Rockstar Stitch and Ursula. So just I'd like to see a reaction. I can notice a reaction of that. But also going forward, I think the set champ pricings are going to be a little less in value.
Yeah, I think we can all agree there, right? There's going to be more printed. There's going to be literally 4 more per store. That means that the Stitch and the Ursula were, they're going to have some type of novelty because we're only given to top 4 instead of top 8. I do think that the change was necessary. I think it answers a lot. I think it solves a lot of the problems and concerns that people had with set championships. I think a lot of people had a similar view of like, hey, there's a lot of big players coming to my store, which I've never seen them before, and they're taking all the pricing, right? And then some people, they're like, hey, there's some shops that are gatekeeping, and they're not letting me enter their tournament because I'm not a local member. And like either way, like however you view it, I feel like it was like causing some type of problem, controversy in the community, and I think a lot of it was because of how scarce, how competitive it felt to want to be in the top 4 for these prize cards. And now that they make it a top 8, exactly what you said, Zach, it's gonna lower the value a little bit. It's gonna make it like less valuable to win those. There's gonna be much more in circulation, but I think it's gonna make it so that not that people are less interested, but that it's gonna be just a little bit less competitive. So now maybe some people won't feel as torn up about like, I made it all the way to top 8 and I lost, and this local game store gave me nothing, and I lost to somebody who never even comes to my game store or something like that. You know what I mean? So I get where they're coming from. And honestly, another reason why I like it is because I think, in my opinion, it makes the DLC prize cards just a little bit more valuable. You know what I mean? Because now, if you really want to prove yourself, instead of just getting top 8 at the set championships, you got to get top 64, top 128 at a DLC. It's a kind of a big difference now. And I do feel like the set championships were very competitive, but like I don't think it 100% needed to be that competitive every set. You know what I mean? So yeah, I do think it's good for the player. I think it's good for the player base. I think it's good for new players who are going to play their first set championship, and they make it into Top Cut, and they get the prize card. They don't got to worry about having to play that last round because we all know how gut wrenching that can be, especially if you're a new player. So I like it. It's going to keep new players into the game, is what I'm hoping.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some more, more people wanting to like actually go out of their way and play in these. I myself may not be willing to go out of my way now, but keep in mind that these bigger events or the ones that kind of host extra pricing on top of just the promos may change my mind. And just always look for your local game stores that are really supporting the community and support those stores. Arthur's Wizard Apprentice Enchanted is something that I personally wanted to bring up. This card has been seeing a lot more sales in the more recent days with the Arthur support announced in Shimmering Skies. A lot have sold, and there's probably like a theme here with like the bounce support. And Arthur didn't see any play during set 4. I think just because of the fact that it's too vulnerable to brawl, and a lot of other cards that could answer it. And unless you kind of build your deck around the Arthur bounce package, it's not going to do you the best into the current meta.
Yeah, it does have its drawbacks. It also loses to the Sisus. It gets knocked out by Brawl. It's a great card though, and I would love to see some play next format. We're getting a lot more Arthur, Madam Mim, Merlin support. So yeah, man, just like you said, it is causing some more interest in these cards. So good to know. Good to know. I really want to start playing with enchanted, like I said. So maybe I will pick up my enchanted Arthurs. But speaking of cards that are expensive to play with, Diablo, Devoted Herald, also has an enchanted rare, by the way. So maybe that's why we won't see the foils or the regular versions of this price shoot up super high. But today, the lowest verified for a non-foil Diablo is now $30.95, shipping included by Hidden Block Games, which I think is a very good price. Way better than seeing that for 40, 45 like we did at the end earlier in the format. Cold foils are going to be $39.83, so about $40 by Jork's Cards. And I'm pretty sure Diablo is relevant next format. If you're not playing the Bucky deck anymore, obviously because of the new Bucky errata that's coming to a tournament near you, then you're probably still gonna want to play Emerald with Diablo. So don't count that deck out, in my opinion. Ursa Deceiver of All, I think, just gets way better next format. I'm going to keep preaching this every market watch until we see it jump back up in price. But wow, we don't even have a verified listing on the first page. Not a bunch of non-verified sellers have it for less than $25. We have Vinny DS Cards is the lowest one for $21.10 with $1 shipping. Then it becomes $22.44 with shipping included. So around $22 to $23 if you want to go through a non-verified seller. But GNC Paradise has you for $24.16 for the lowest verified. So the card's already going back up a little bit. I think on Monday we were looking at this card and it was closer to $20, and now it's getting closer to that 25 mark. And I'm gonna say it again: if you're not gonna be playing Bucky next format, like I'm pretty sure you're gonna be playing Ursula Deceiver of All. Like the turn 3 Ursula into turn 4 Prince John Sudden Chill is still an amazing play. I don't think that's gonna change next format. Zach, how do you feel?
This card sings songs twice, and there's no other card that does that yet so far. So I have always felt like this card is potentially ban worthy. Just once they make a song that becomes more than overpowered and they're able to double sing it, it will see a lot more play. This is just still one of the strongest cards that was printed into the Inkland set. So I'm very confident that the price could go back up, not necessarily right away, but all they need to do is announce a really good song in this new set, and we'll see the stars align.
Nice. Very well put together. Cold foils, by the way, are 32.46 with shipping included. And if we ever get a reprint, it'll be errata too as well. This card was originally printed in the incorrect classification of Storyborn. Never forget that part. Beast Tragic Hero, pretty expensive still, man. Lowest verified is going to be $46.99 by Strike Zone Online for a near mint. Sad boy Beast. Beast Tragic Hero. The cold foils are going to be oh wow, $70+ still. So 75.20 with $5 shipping by Black Swamp Games is your cold foil price. About an $80 cold foil still. Love to see that. Beast Tragic Hero. It's very relevant in the meta still. I don't think this is going to go away either next format, regardless if you're playing the Bucky deck, if you're playing Emerald Steel, Sapphire Steel. Usually you play like a number of Beast Tragic Hero, right? And I think right now, like at least for the non-foils, a lot of the cards are like the lowest they've been in a cool minute. Mainly because like when the actual format was being played, a lot of these cards were needed for competitive play. And now that set champs is almost over, the new set's coming out, they're starting to dip. So Beast was more than $50, and today maybe you can find it for less than $50. So I think you should start deck building now. I think you should start thinking about what color combos you want to play. If you're just somebody who you're gonna keep playing this game indefinitely, then just start buying staples. Look for staples even for colors you don't currently play right now, because you never know when you're gonna switch into a Sapphire Steel deck, or if you're gonna switch into like an Emerald Steel deck or something. Robin Hood Champion of Sherwood still selling for $36.21, lowest verified by HD Legacy for their non-foils Robin Hoods, that's pretty expensive. I like that. And the Colt foils are selling for $42.95 with $1.25 shipping, just a little bit more than $40 for Robin Hood Champion of Sherwood. One of the best shift targets in my opinion. One of the best like shift characters, and it's a 5 cost character, so it'll sing all your stuff like Whole New World, Let It Go. Yeah, not gonna go anywhere, right, Zach?
I don't think so. We saw a lot of Amber Steel being represented at that challenge, Kevin. I know I had to play against one. I think you had to play against one. And we saw plenty in the top cut representation. This card is still very, very good. Its stat lines still work very well under not being able to get Zeus or Brawled. It has the ability to gain lore while also removing characters off the board, which I've always felt like is a very strong tempo effect. And the ability to replace itself is just even like a cherry on top. We're also seeing all the Robin Hood support, and I think that's also coming out in the new set too. So there's
Mhm.
no way that this card's going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. There's a bunch of new Robin Hood support, so it does have some potential to be even better than it is now. So I would just hold on to my Robin Hoods personally in case I decide to want to play that deck. Maleficent Monstrous Dragon, super cheap today. Lowest verified is gonna be 22. Sorry, lowest verified actually gonna be 28.23 by Cupertino. Wow, actually not so cheap with the dollar shipping. So about $30. But if you want to go through some non-verified sellers to have it for closer to 27, Games Nexus Realm 22.29 with $5 shipping, and BDM Goods for $27 and $1 shipping. So Maleficent Monstrous Dragon always seems to come in and out of the format. The cold foils are still pretty pricey, $69.51 with $1.50 shipping. They're going back up in price. They were a little bit less than 60 or I mean 70 earlier in the week, and now it's looking like they're pushing $70 again for the cold foil. So I think the last week or two, prices were pretty low. So if you missed out, you're gonna start seeing prices go up again, I think. Mufasa decks. Very, very, very interesting. I want to play Mufasa next format. I'm thinking it's going to have a lot of utility post Bucky, which is kind of cool. So maybe if you're playing the Toronto challenge, that might be something to consider. BB Cards and Comics has you for 15.20 with 75-cent shipping. After that, it starts hitting $16 by Battle Tricks. All at the bottom of the page, it'll stay at like $16, $17 for your non-foil Mufasa legendaries, which is cool. And the cold foils, wow, these are starting to get expensive, which is really interesting to see. CCG Professionals has you for $33.99 with $2.50 shipping.
Yeah, these cold foils are going up, and I'm happy to, I've been owning my playset for a while. So I've been on the same boat too, Kevin. You've heard me talk about Steel Fossa so many times. So I'm excited to just kind of like explore different decks too now that my the event that I was practicing for has already gone by. The next event is Vegas, and I do want to kind of see the full set revealed before I start, thinking about all that. And just you never know what the news is going to be for a card coming out that's going to be very good for any other theme decks that already exist. Ruby Amethyst is already seeing a good amount of support, so we're going to see that deck be strong, and this has always been a good counter to it. So yeah, Mufasa might be the thing to look at for sure. And if you don't have these and you haven't been buying them in for your collections, start considering that this prices could go up there.
Yeah, cold foil staples, man. Say it every time. I'm glad I only have two cold foil Mufasas, but I have two non foils, and they're starting to go up again. So I'm glad I got them a while ago because I just knew in the future Kevin was gonna want to play a Mufasa deck at some point. So getting them when they were closer to $10 was nice, or 15 for those foils. But yeah, whole new worlds today are going to be lowest verified 11.24 by Hidden Block Games. Very interesting to see. A little bit less than $15 still. Cold foils are going to still be in the almost $20 range. Lowest verified is 24.75 actually by Top Deck TCGs, and the non-verified sellers like Disney Stopover have it for just a little bit less, 18.88 with $5 shipping. So you have cold foils, whole new world selling for more than $20. We have Maui Hero to All still selling for $15 for the non-foils. Love Card Shop for $14.99 with shipping included. There's a non-verified seller, First Save Point. They have it for $14.99 as well. And yeah, at the bottom of the page, they just stick around $14.99. So it's a $15 rare. It doesn't look like it's gonna budge really anytime soon, going up or down. Cold foils are gonna be $25 though. Love Card Shop, $24.40 for your cold foil Maui Hero to Alls. I love to see that. So that's an expensive card right there. Jimbo Hawkins, I feel like has been going up just a little bit in price. Lowest verified is $8.55 now with shipping included. A lot of sales movement for Jim Hawkins in the cold foils. Look at that. Somebody bought two, another person bought two, and another person bought one for only $11, $13.11. They're pretty cheap. In my opinion, and I don't know, man. We're just getting more and more and more locations, and every time I read a location, I think like, okay, can we somehow bring this out with Jim Hawkins and then use Tuk Tuk or something, or can we somehow like cheat this out, right? Wow, cold foils are only 11.50 by the Poke Central. I don't know, man. I want to buy a playset now because I have like two that I got in the beginning of was the Inklands format, and I bought them for like 25 $30 each, and they just like crashed because I thought this card was like gonna be a little better than I thought, than it turned out to be. But now I just want the other two because of how cheap it is, and I get the feeling Jim Hawkins is gonna end up being pretty good soon, right? I don't know. That's just my opinion. We have a Perdita over here selling for as low as 625, going by lowest verified by Lorcana Golden Lady. I bring this card up because a lot of people are playing this in Amber Steel after we saw an Amber Steel deck make top cut of the DLC Texas with this card. Perdita says when you play this character and whenever she quests, you may play a character with 2 cost or less from your discard for free. So you can bring back your Piglet Pooh Pirate Captains, your Robin Hood, or your Queen Goons characters and stuff like that, right? Zach, do you like this card in Amber Steel?
I don't know how I feel about that card in Ember Steel. The deck plays so many uninkables that adding another one just seems very, very scary, especially when it's a character too. It's not a song that you can sing to justify that need. But it's still a very powerful card in a lot of other theme decks. Still can't forget the deck that Josh won the mana with. Being able to play this and replay your cheap Amethyst characters like Chernobog's Followers or the Piglet or even Snake to bounce it back so you can do it over and over again. So it was really cool.
Yeah, high potential card for sure. I think it's cool in Mufasa decks too. So it's cheap legendary, very cheap legendary in my opinion. Cold foils are going to be as low as 851 by Acquire Cardboard, right? So yeah, I think it might have some interesting potential right there. Madam M Fox's lowest verified today is going to be still $5. Lorcana Golden Lady 4.99 with $1.27 shipping. The Madam M Fox and the Rabbit and the Goat, they're not going anywhere. And if anything, we're just getting more support for them next format. So as a Ruby Amethyst player, I'm pretty excited. As someone who doesn't have their deck foil, I'm looking at these prices and I think, wow, that's never gonna happen to me. Level One Gaming has a cold foil fox ready for you for 14.37 with $1 shipping, so about $15 for this cold foil. The Sisu Emboldened Warrior, these are still selling for around $6. We have Astral trading for $5.53, then Crazy Deals for $5.75, shipping included, and they start to hit $6 really close after that. So it's about a $6 rare still, which is nice to see. Cold foils are going to be $10.50. Lowest verified is actually $11.99 by Strike Zone Online, which is double the price of the non-foil, right? And you got to ask yourself, are you going to be 100% playing this card next format, stuff like that? You know, if you're someone who has like a bunch of inventory and you're thinking about like which cards to sell, I think this is a great staple. Right now, it's really hyped in Ruby Amethyst. Are you going to be playing the Ruby deck the exact same way, et cetera, et cetera? So Flynn Rider, his own biggest fan, is a cold foil I want to go over. These have been kind of coming down in price ever since that first DLC that Bucky won. The cold foils were selling for around 5, 6-ish, $7, and now they're pretty low. 250 with $1.27 shipping. So if you've been wanting to foil out your Ruby deck, Flynn Riders are pretty cheap now, kind of like half the price from what it was after they won that DLC. So cold foils only 250. I think this card's still pretty good. Like you're gonna be discarding your opponent's hand next format, I think, regardless. So why not pick them up for 250 instead of 5, right, Zach?
Definitely. I mean, this card has a lot of potential. Just shifting to be able to sing 4 cost songs has always been something that I've liked about this card. It has the high lore count stat line, as you'll see later, that has a lot of relevancy to what we're expecting in the new set. But just this card also is just a an out to Diablo too, which a lot of people don't look at at the first glance. But yes, it is an out to Diablo. If you shift into challenging and exerted Diablo, it will also stay on the board too.
Yeah, that's true. If you guys watched our Quest with a Guest video that just came out yesterday, we did an interview with Alpha JBO who plays Emerald Amethyst, and he earned a Let It Go playing an Emerald Amethyst Jafar deck. And one of the strats he was using was Peter Pan's Shadow Finder to be able to challenge Diablos with certain cards like with Flynn Rider or Jafar, for example, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, the card has some definite high potential next format and this current format. So don't sleep on these cards because they're cheap foils. Turnabox Followers is kind of an expensive foil still. Lowest verified is going to be, wow, 621 for a cold foil. Turnabox Followers by Mike Z Gamer. And the same thing, gotta ask yourself, are you gonna be playing Turnabox Followers next format?
I don't know, man. This card still says draw a card, and it is a 1 cost character that's inkable. Hard to imagine it ever not being good, but you never know. There was a location announced that basically says when a character is banished here, you may draw a card, and it doesn't care how it's banished. So Chernobog's followers would be able to be drawn and trigger that ability. So
That is true.
definitely can see that being a thing, but who knows?
That is true. Draw two. Yeah, that's true. I like that little shtick. I did see that card. It's a sapphire or is it a it's an amethyst card? I think it's an amethyst card, but yeah, you'd be able to draw two. It also triggers off of that broom. So maybe yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this card will be even more relevant next format. Baloo von Bruenwald. This card seeing a lot of play in the DLC top cut. Price been going up just a little bit. Lowest verified for a cold foil Baloo is going to be all the way at the bottom, 183 with 250 shipping. So that's about $3 to $4 for your cold foil Baloos now. So if you have these sitting around in your binder or sitting around in your bulk, make sure to pull them out to the side because people are paying about $1 or two for this card now in the non-foil as well. Very good card, I think. In the hyper aggro meta in the Amber Steel deck that was in second place, so that's kind of interesting to see right there. Ursula Deceiver from Into the Inklands cold foils are still around $5 to $4. Pokemart's what is that 13 has you for $3 with $1.27 shipping for your Ursula Deceiver cold foils. Oh, the Queen Disguised Peddler. Tell me about this, Zach. Why is everybody buying this card all of a sudden?
Oh, like I did mention earlier, is that the card Flynn Rider does have that lore stat line, but it's not because of that. It's because of that new Maribel that got announced with the 5 lore stat line, and we see a lot of people bringing up that the Queen can be able to give the get the 5 lore right off the bat without having the character in play. Another thing too is that Emerald has a lot of bounce capabilities, so you can also protect your queen or be able to replay your queen in a lot of other ways. And Under the Sea is still a card, so you can clear the board. I'm kind of interested to see a lot of people explore alternative win conditions like this.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting card. You guys gotta look at the Maribel. It wasn't on TCG Player, but I'll see if we can get some more information on that in the description. But yeah, the card quest for 5, and you can discard it off of the Peddler and just gain 5 lore, which is 1/4 of your entire win condition. So a lot of people interested in that combo. This card seeing a lot of play. I'm sorry, a lot of sales. Yesterday, it looked like 10 to 20 people just bought them, and now the lowest verified for the cold foils are going to be 97 cents with $1.27 shipping. So the cold foils are at least $2. So if you want to start pulling these out of your bulk and just to have them when that hype deck comes out, you guys gotta be prepared. Cricky, this cold foil is selling for $1.99 with $1.27 shipping. I like this card. I think it's very good in Emerald. Outs locations, can quest for 3. It just does everything you need to do, and I like the fact that it's really cheap. So I actually picked one. I picked up like 2 of them because I want to play a specific Emerald deck for set champs this weekend, and I like that they're so cheap. Core TCG has you for $1.99, $1.27 shipping for your cold foil Crickies, and we have cold foil Bruno as well. A lot of Emerald cards we wanted to talk about before the format ends and Bucky changes because everything's so cheap right now. The cold foil Brunos are $3.20 with $1.27 shipping, so around $4 to $5 for your cold foil. We don't talk about Brunos, and this card's not going anywhere either, right? And I don't know. I feel like people are just like writing off Emerald from the meta just because Bucky's gone, and the cards are super cheap right now, so I don't really see why they would do that, right?
I don't think Bucky was like the actual reason why Emerald was like overpowered. I think there's a lot of other reasons why. I think in combination with Bucky, we had the powerful Floodborns that worked well. But guys, you guys, we saw Emerald Steel be a dominant deck and during the set 3 format. We saw Emerald Amethyst also take second place during the Chicago Challenge. So I don't know where the conclusions are coming from. Even Emerald Amber took a couple spots in the Dallas Fort Worth Challenge day 2. So this was included in those lists. This is again a very very powerful removal card, not being able to trigger cards like Mufasa, and it's not something like Let It Go that returns cards to the Inkwell. It's very Emerald themed, and I love it.
Yeah, I think it's a great card, and another enchant that I want to play with. And last but not least, for some cards, I want to go over Stitch Abomination. We did see this card see some play in the Ruby Amber Mufasa deck that was in top cut of the DLC Texas, and I think because of that, and because people in general like that deck, this Abomination alternate art has been going up in price. Lowest verified is now 925 by K Art HTCG, and at the bottom of the page they start to hit $11 already. We have 10.95 shipping included by Wasted Days. So if you have those promos from the D100 set, they kind of just jump up and down in price every now and then. The whole combo is that you play Gaston turn 3, the Amber Gaston, then turn 4 you can ink a card and use Gaston's ability to play this early on turn 4, basically. So it's a pretty cool card. It's a 6/4/6, does not lose to Medusa, can quest for 3. A lot of pressure in that deck. Very cool. Very cool. But some news to finish us off today. We did have a PSA 10 golden serialized Mickey. This was a Mickey 1 by Zan Syed selling for $15,860 on the final price. $15,000, my goons, for your PSA 10 golden serialized Mickey. What do you guys think of that price? Let me know in the comments below. I know a lot of people are that had their expectations like extremely high. And in general though, coming from like the perspective of seeing card games grow from some like back in the day, like 10, 15 years ago to what it is now. If you would have told me 10 years ago that you can win a $15,000 card playing a card game, I would have called you a liar. So I think this is insane regardless. You know what I mean? So Zach, what do you think?
Well, I definitely can see that for sure. I think a lot of expectations were set where it would be a lot higher or sell for a lot higher, but the overall collectability that this card has is, bound to be infinite. It is one of there'll only be 500 that exist, and the numbers too will also had some significance. Like we'll see some specific numbers I think go for a lot more.
True, true.
For a card that exists only in this artwork, and this only a way to obtain it is to do well at one of these events. Who knows? Who knows if this card can go up in price? I definitely see it happening. I don't know by how much, but the kudos to those that are willing to put their bids on it now. And you never know. You never know with a lot of recent events in the global outage, it could have had an effect on how some people plan to obtain this card and make purchases with it.
Yeah, I mean that's true. That's honestly true. There's a lot less people who were playing for this card than before, but because of those global outages. But man, it's a crazy feat. I can't $15,000. And by the way, guys, if you do win a Mickey, get it graded. It's for sure worth it. Because I mean, selling it non-graded, it'll probably cut out a couple digits out of that. You know what I mean? Maybe a couple thousand, just from not getting it graded. And they did say that they picked the best Mickeys to give to the winners. So yeah, PSA 10 Mickey, love to see it. Population 4 is what it says right here. Wow. And then so some more Disney Lorcana challenge updates. So if you are going to the challenge and you did win some side event prize cards, this is what they're selling for today. Most recent comp for a foil Let It Go for top 128 was $600, and that was sold today. So around $600 is what this Let It Go is worth now. It's been just coming down in price every single Lorcana challenge. Which is why I got rid of my promos immediately after I won them that from top 32. The non-foil Rapunzel's still selling for around 130. These are cool. These have been maintaining their price actually. This one and the Cinderella, they're selling for at least more than $100, which is nice. The Dragonfire promos, $60, $66, $65. So a little bit less than what they were a couple weeks ago, from like 80 to 65. I can see that. I can dig that. The Cindy mats for sure came down in price, man. Look at this. Best offer accepted from July 24th for $500 for the Cinderella mat. Again, still pretty good. Like if you would have told me 5-10 years ago that there's going to be a Disney card game, and if you play their side events, you can walk away with a $500 mat, I would have looked at you like you're crazy. I would have looked at you like it's not possible. So the fact that I'm seeing this, I'm still pretty hyped. It's not $1,000, but hey, that's still something. It's still good for your weekend, right? We have the lanyard selling for $25. That's always hilarious. And then we have some more. We have a Cinderella foil. This is the top 32 prize card you get, selling for $2,250. So that's good to see. As someone who is a competitive player, you make top cut at the Lorcana Challenge. You walk away with, close to $2,000. That's a solid weekend's work in my opinion. And then we have another Cinderella mat that's sold in bids on July 22nd for $499.99. Yeah, man, Zach, how do you feel about the prize cards and the Lorcana challenges in terms of like the pricing and what you can win?
That is definitely something that I couldn't. I would be in the same boat if you told me 5 years ago I would kind of laugh. I wouldn't even see like a card game like One Piece also doing the same kind of thing. But yeah, it's definitely interesting when I see the Let It Go's price around like 600, and then the Cinderella is like more almost triple that now with the more recent sale. I'm curious to know if there's a lot of people that decided to keep their pricing that earned them this weekend or this past weekend, but a lot of people were just dumping them to vendors. I know you
Hmm.
were, handful of other people that I saw kind of walk right off the stage, walk right to a vendor and get handed some cash. So there is there is a lot less out there, I think, being sold for a discount now that stores have at their hands on them. Um, and they're the ones that are going to be like, long term holding this whether they want to or not, and they could win from this all. I believe that once these promos are no longer in distribution, the ones that were graded and kept will see an increase in value over a long period of time.
Yeah, they're gonna have to rotate these out eventually. There's gonna be a point in time where you can no longer win the Cindy mat. You can no longer win the Cindy card. You can no longer win the golden BLT serialized Mickey. And until then, we have to just keep trying to win these, bro. 'Cause I want to be a champion. I want to own all of these. Before we let you go, I do just want to go over the first chapter booster box prices because they have been selling for pretty cheap today. If you want some sealed product, I think the first chapter booster box is a cool collectible. Look at that. They're selling for 209, 209, 219, 299 cents, 204, around $200 for the first chapter booster box. I think this is really good. I feel like they're usually at 240, 250. I think we got a restock. I'm not entirely sure. To my understanding, Zach, some of the stores that did host at championships also got some first chapter booster boxes. But it didn't seem like it was like an insane amount either. But like regardless, like from what I've heard, like Ravensburg is gonna have these available. So right now it's a pretty good price. Lowest verified is Top Choice Gaming. Those are open box. Never mind. Turn 9 headline has you for 215 with $7 shipping. So a little bit less than 220 for your first chapter booster boxes, right? So we'll see what happens with those prices, and we'll see what continues to happen with the Disney Lorcana Challenge prize cards. Oh, one more thing, real quick. There was one sale I wanted to go over. We have a sale for a PSA 10 D23 Elsa foil that sold for $7,650. This is what I love to see. I love this card. This is like my personal holy grail. This is my favorite card in Lorcana, just because I love the lore of like the D23 Expo and how they revealed Lorcana to the people, and nobody cared about it. And now the PSA 10 Elsa selling for $7,650. I think this card has the potential to get to those 5 digits very soon. Give it like another year or two, or even after this next D23, and we're gonna see more sales movement for these happen. We did get the announcement that the newest D23 promos are not going to be exclusive for the D23 event. You're going to be able to get these D23 promos for this year at like Disneyland, Paris, like those Disney stores, basically the same way you would get like booster boxes. So like if you want to line up for those at like 2 in the morning and deal with scalpers all day, by all means. If you want to go to the D23 Expo, you'll also be able to acquire the same promos. But these promos, once in a lifetime opportunity. So $7,650. Actually pretty awesome, Zach. How do you feel about it?
Oh wow, I'm a little mind blown. And like I think I can remember you owning one of these at one point in time. Maybe not a TSA 10,
It was a
right?
PSA 9. It was a PSA 9. Yeah, I owned it for a minute, and like I had to get rid of it. And I dislike myself for getting rid of it. There was there's another one here. That I didn't even see this one. July 22nd, 93 bids. PSA 10 Elsa, $7,300. These are going up again, dude. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another sale soon for that 5 digit mark. So, yeah, D23 promos going up again. Love to see it. Lorcana, the best card game ever invented. Love to see it. Zach, next set coming out very soon. I can't wait for it. Can't wait for all these cards. And until then, stay tuned to Lorcana Goons. Zach, any final words?
I'm gonna say it again, guys. Get in our Discord server. It is always, insightful whenever these new cards come out. People are loving to share and talk about them. I'm just excited as for these new cards as you guys. So make sure you share your excitement and talk about it. Our Discord link is always in the bio and in the description of every video. So get involved. And as always, stay tuned to our Counting Goons.
All right, we'll see you Goons next time.